Jack didn't expect any reward. He'd just done the right thing, at least in his mind. When the alien freighter sent out a distress signal from the edge of the void belt, most ships ignored it. Pirates roamed that zone, and the area was full of debris and storms. But Jack had been close by in his small repair ship, the Copper Sparrow. He had no weapons, only tools. But when he saw the burning alien ship stuck in orbit, he rushed in. With his drone arms and welding bots, he patched the reactor before it exploded. He didn't even meet the crew. They were trapped behind sealed doors. After stabilizing the ship, he left quietly. Weeks passed. Then, out of nowhere, a message came from the Galactic Alliance. They invited him to their central city, a place where most humans had never been allowed. They praised his act as brave and noble. Jack was confused, but honored. He packed a clean shirt and flew his ship to the event. The city was huge, bright, and full of strange shapes. Jack stood on a floating platform with hundreds of alien leaders watching. Some had long necks, others floated on air, and some blinked with too many eyes. He felt small, especially when the High Speaker, a tall creature with crystal skin, announced. For his courage and selfless action, the human Jack is to be given a reward worthy of our gratitude. Jack smiled awkwardly. Maybe they'd give him a medal, or a new ship part, or just a handshake. Instead, a small hover platform floated toward him. Standing on it was a tiny alien woman. She was barely 2 feet tall, with soft green skin, large eyes, and silver bands on her arms. She wore a thin royal cloth with family marks glowing on it. Her dark hair was tied in a short braid behind her head. As soon as the platform stopped, she jumped down, walked over to Jack, and hugged his leg. Everyone clapped. Jack froze. The High Speaker continued. Her name is Luma, of House Zevnari. As is tradition among her people, she offers herself in life bond to the one who saved her kin. Jack looked down at the girl holding tightly to his leg. Excuse me? Asked softly. Luma looked up at him with wide, glowing eyes and said something in a musical alien language. The translator patch on Jack's wrist struggled, then said, Here, mate. Safe now. Jack looked at the crowd. They all seemed pleased. He gave a nervous smile and a thumbs up. After the ceremony, Jack was taken back to his ship. Luma was still attached to his leg. Every time he tried to step, she stepped with him. When he sat, she sat by his foot. He gently tried to move her. She wouldn't let go. Luma, he said, you don't have to follow me, you know. She tilted her head. Must follow, protect, belong now. Belong? Jack rubbed his face. This is a mistake. He called the Alliance contact. He responded politely. The life bond is sacred to her people. If you refuse, it will dishonor her entire line. Jack groaned. But she's tiny, and she won't stop grabbing my leg. The reply was simple. Please be gentle. She's from a warrior caste. She may look small, but her loyalty is powerful. You are a hero in her eyes. Jack sighed. When he entered his ship, his crew stared. His pilot, Dan, raised an eyebrow. Is that a kid? No, Jack said quickly. She's a tiny, alien woman, and she won't let go of my leg. Apparently, she thinks she belongs to me now. His engineer laughed. Well, you've had worse passengers. They tried everything. Jack gave her a room. She followed him. Gave her food. She ate only after he did. They tried explaining human customs. She stared at the translator and then went right back to hugging Jack's leg. Even when Jack tried to sleep, found Luma curled up at the foot of his bed like a loyal pet. This can't go on, Jack muttered. He started reading about her culture. The Zevnari were rare. Few had ever seen them. They believed that a life saved must be honored with full loyalty. The bond could only be broken if the one saved failed their new role. But Jack hadn't saved her directly. He saved her cousin, the captain of the freighter. He tried to explain that to her. She frowned. You saved my family, same as saving me. You were chosen. Jack looked into her big eyes. She wasn't joking. Later that week, a small alien delegation came to his ship. They brought gifts and bowed to Luma, calling her little protector. They thanked Jack again and told him her life is now yours to guide. Treat her with respect, and she will guard you with all her being. Jack didn't know what to say as he watched Luma walk beside him, still holding his leg. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of reward this really was. She wasn't just some cute alien girl. There was something else in her eyes, something quiet and sharp, and for some reason, she wasn't afraid of anything. Not space, not danger, not even him. And as strange as it felt, Jack started to believe that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't here by mistake after all. Days passed, but nothing changed. Jack walked, and Luma followed. He sat, and Luma sat beside his foot. He talked to the crew, and she just stood silently, never blinking, always listening. The crew had stopped laughing. They were just confused. Dan? The pilot said one morning, "She's like a living shadow. Doesn't eat unless you eat. Doesn't speak unless you speak. Kinda creepy." "She's not creepy," Jack said, rubbing his eyes. "She's just serious." Jack had tried reasoning with her. He explained that humans didn't keep life bonds. He explained freedom, choice, friendship. Luma listened carefully. She even nodded. But at the end of each talk, she simply said, "My path is with you. I was given. I will stay." Jack sighed. "You don't have to be given. You can choose." "Choose to stay," she replied softly. Jack gave up arguing. Instead, he tried to learn about her. In the evenings, while floating through the calm sectors of space, he sat with her in the cargo bay and asked questions. "Do you have a family?" he asked. Luma looked up. "They are gone. Only my cousin remains. He was captain. You saved him." "What happened?" "Enemy empire raided our moon. Only the freighter escaped. You fixed the ship. You gave him time to flee. The bond is real." Jack leaned back. "You don't owe me for that, really." She frowned. "We do not repay with coins. We repay with life." There was no changing her mind, but something else was happening. Jack noticed her watching the crew, learning quickly. She mimicked how they used tools. She memorized maps faster than his navigator. One day, Don accidentally dropped a fuel rod. It rolled toward a power socket. Before anyone could react, Luma jumped, kicked the rod away, and stood like a statue, breathing slowly. Jack blinked. "Did you move so fast?" Luma simply said, "Trained since birth." Jack started to realize she wasn't just loyal. She was dangerous in a quiet, sharp way. Later that week, they docked at a trade station to refill supplies. Jack told Luma to stay on the ship. She shook her head. "You go, I go. We're just picking up food and parts," Jack said. "You'll be bored," she replied, so she came along, still close to his leg. People stared. Traders and guards looked twice at the little green-skinned alien clinging to a human's side. Some laughed. Others looked worried. Jack walked past a tall alien merchant who smirked and said, "Cute pet human." Jack didn't respond, but Luma's head turned. She stepped forward. "I am not pet." The merchant laughed. "Oh, what are you then?" Luma's eyes narrowed. She moved so fast, no one saw her slip behind the merchant, lift his coin pouch, drop it in Jack's hand, and return to his side. The merchant looked down, then gasped. Jack quickly gave it back. "Sorry, mistake." The merchant stepped back. Shaking, Jack whispered, "Luma, what was that?" "Test," he insulted. "I passed," she replied calmly. Jack sighed. "Don't do that again." She nodded. "Less needed." As they returned to the ship, Jack couldn't shake the feeling something wasn't right, and he was right. That night, the ship was scanned by an unknown probe. It didn't carry any known flag. The crew found traces of tracking devices on there. Hull, someone had tagged them. Jack looked at Luma. "Enemies of your family?" She nodded. "They hunt the blood of Zevnari. I am Lasky." "Key?" Jack asked. "My memory holds codes, doors, secrets of old tech. They want it." "So, they sent a fake gift, hoping to trace you." "No," Luma said. "The gift was true, but spies walk among the trade lines." Jack told the crew, change all paths. Take the long way. Avoid hubs. They went dark. Number signals. No lights. Silent running. Luma stayed even closer now. Always alert, always quiet. Jack began to trust her more. He started giving her small duties, watching screens, checking airlocks, mapping routes. She performed them perfectly. She also started talking more. You fixed my cousin's ship with no reward in mind, she said one evening. Double quotes. Yeah, it just felt like the right thing. You're kind. Humans are strange, she said. You give. Jack chuckled. Some humans take too. Not you, she whispered. Jack looked at her. What happens if they catch you? They will erase my mind. Use what's inside to control old machines. They will destroy planets to rule. Jack stood. Not happening. Will protect. You. I will protect you too, Luma said. That night, Jack lay in bed, thinking. This wasn't just about a weird gift anymore. Luma was carrying something important. And more than that, she believed in him. He looked toward the foot of the bed. Luma was curled up there, eyes open. Was always watching. Jack closed his eyes. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But one thing was clear. She may have been tiny, but her presence was growing stronger every day. The silence of space was not peaceful anymore. Jack could feel the tension around him. Every beep on the radar, every signal echo, made him wonder if someone was watching. Luma remained calm, but her alertness had sharpened. She moved with silent purpose, checking doors, scanning screens, and sitting near Jack wherever he went. I feel like we're being hunted, Dan said, tightening bolts on the engine wall. We are, Jack answered. And we're carrying the reason. Luma stood by the door, her arms crossed. They will come, but not with flags. They will wear other faces. Spies? Asked their engineer. Yes, she nodded. And they will offer peace before they attack. Jack looked through the ship's main screen. Stars stretched endlessly, but he knew danger hid somewhere among them. 2 days later, he received a signal, a request for docking help. The message was simple. Small ship in distress. Food and power low. This feels wrong, Jack muttered. Could be a real call, said Dan. But I don't like it either. Let's check from a distance, Jack said. They approached. Slowly, weapons ready. The other ship was small and looked damaged. But as they scanned, Luma's hand shot out. Stop! What? Jack asked. That ship? The symbols. They are wrong. The crew stared. That's not a rescue call. It's bait, Luma said. Suddenly the ship turned. Weapons opened from hidden panels. Missiles launched. Evade. Jack yelled. The copper sparrow spun fast. Luma jumped to the controls. Though she was small, her fingers flew across the panel. Defensive codes active. Rerouting power. Stay behind that asteroid. Dan followed her commands, surprised at how quickly she read human tech. The missiles exploded nearby, shaking the ship but not breaking through. Then, more signals appeared. 3 more enemy ships coming in fast. They've been tracking us all along, Jack growled. They want me. Alive, Luma said. But they will not spare the rest of you. Jack narrowed his eyes. Not happening. They couldn't outrun the enemy in open space, so Jack gave a risky order. Head toward the debris field. That's a junk zone, Dan warned. Exactly. Too messy to chase us. And maybe find something useful there. They pushed the ship into the broken remains of old ships, lost cargo and floating steel. Inside the field, signals were messy. The enemy slowed down, scanning carefully. Turn. Everything off, Jack ordered. No heat, no lights. As the ship drifted, Luma whispered, They are close. I can feel their scan. Jack nodded, then opened a secret panel. Inside was an old manual turret, barely working. You're not going out there? Don asked. Won't expect it, Jack said. If I can hit their comes array, they'll lose coordination. But before he stepped out, Luma jumped down in front of him. Let me go. No, Jack said. You're the one they want. Yes, Luma replied. That's why they'll focus on me. They will chase. Duh. You shoot. Jack hesitated. You're small. If they see you, They will, and I'll lead them away. But only if you promise to get the shot. He clenched his fists. Fine, but you stay close to the wrecks. Don't get hit. Luma gave a small nod, then leaped into a nearby service hatch and vanished. A few moments later, one of the enemy ships turned. Its sensors locked onto a fast, small life signal darting between the debris. Luma was running across broken ship parts. Like a shadow, there she is, came a voice on comms. Target moving westward. Jack, now in the turret bay, aimed carefully. The enemy ship shifted to chase. He waited until the comms dish was exposed, then fired. The old turret kicked with power. The shot flew straight. Boom, the enemy ship spun wildly. Sparks flew from its hull. Hit confirmed. Don yelled. Luma single quotes, his voice came through. Returning, Jack helped her back into the ship. She had a scratch on her arm and dust in her hair. You okay? He asked. Yes. One less hunter. Jack stared at her. You risked your life again. You gave me your trust, she said. I will never waste it. They didn't wait for more enemies. The Copper Sparrow used the debris field to slip into a quiet route and jump away at light-speed. Later, Jack sat in the mess room, his head resting on the table. Luma climbed onto the bench beside him. We need to end this, he said. We will, she replied. Your memory. The data you carry? Is there a way to remove it? Hide it? No, she said. It is tied to my blood, my mind. If I die, it dies. Jack looked at her. Then we protect it. Protect you. She smiled, just a little. Then you accept it. Bond. He didn't answer for a long time. Then he said, I accept the mission. I accept you as part of this crew, not as a prize, not as a servant, but as a partner. Luma stood quietly, then bowed. Partner, she said, the war was not over. More enemies would come. Yeah, but now they would not face them alone. They were stronger together, a human and a tiny alien woman who refused to let go. The Copper Sparrow flew quietly through deep space. No signals, no transmissions, just cold silence. Jack sat in the command chair, staring at the star map. Dan was at the controls, half asleep. The rest of the crew stayed low and quiet, waiting for the next move, but one person was always alert, Luma. She didn't sleep much. She meditated in short moments, sitting still with her eyes closed. Her senses were always sharp, and she never let her guard down. She moved silently through the ship like a whisper. Jack had stopped thinking of her as a gift now. She wasn't something given. She was someone important. We can't keep running, Jack finally said. Don nodded. They'll catch up. Again, sooner or later, we need answers, Jack said. Hey, what's in her memory that they want so badly? You trust her? Don asked. Jack looked toward the engine room where Luma was checking systems. With my life, Jack decided, it was time to understand more. Like that night, he asked Luma to sit with him in the nav room. The stars moved slowly on the screen, and the ship hummed softly. Can you tell me what they're after? Jack asked. Luma sat with her legs folded, looking calm. Long ago, my people found something deep inside a dead star, a core from a lost empire. It held knowledge, power, technology that could destroy or create. Jack listened carefully. My family was chosen to carry the knowledge inside us, she said. Only one per generation. It was passed from mind to mind. My world was attacked. The others were killed. I am the last carrier. So the enemy empire wants what's in your head? She nodded. They want to unlock the codes. They will use it to control star forges and lost machines. They will start a new war across the galaxy. Can't we just upload it into a secure vault? Jack asked. It can't be copied. It lives in my thoughts. If they take me, they win. Jack leaned back. We need help. But who do we trust? Not the Alliance, Luma said. Too many spies. Jack thought for a moment. Then a risky idea came to his mind. There's an old friend, Jack said. Retired Admiral Human. He lives off-grid now, on a rock called Ash Point. If anyone can help us, it's him. They changed course. It would take 2 days to reach Ash Point. But the crew stayed quiet, tension in the air like a tight wire. On the second night, they picked up something strange. A small beacon, barely active, buried deep inside a drifting ice field. "Should we check it?" Dan asked. Jack paused, then nodded. "Let's go slow. Shields up." As they moved closer, the beacon blinked weakly. The signal was human, old military code from decades ago. Luma tilted her head. "This is not a trap. How do you know?" "I feel no focus, no presence watching us. It is forgotten." They sent a drone. It came back with surprising news. An escape pod still intact, frozen inside a chunk of ice. Jack frowned. "Someone's in there." They pulled the pod into the bay and carefully opened it. Inside was a man in stasis, wearing an ancient Earthfleet uniform. He had a gray beard, a scar on his neck, and a rank badge. As the pod warmed and systems rebooted, the man slowly opened his eyes. He coughed, blinked, then stared at Jack. "You're not with the command fleet, are you?" he asked. Jack shook his head. "Just a private ship." "I'm Jack. And you, Commander Ellis." "Fleet Division 7? I was attacked during the last border war. Guess I lost track of time." Jack helped him sit up. Ellis looked around, confused but alert. Luma stepped forward and bowed slightly. "What is she?" Ellis asked. "Not what, who," Jack corrected. "She's Luma, and she's the reason we're in trouble." They explained everything, the memory codes, the chase, the enemies hiding in the shadows. Ellis listened carefully, then leaned forward. "If what she carries is real, then we need to bury it deep or strike first." "Strike?" Jack asked. Ellis nodded. "If you sit and wait, they'll find you. But if you hit their weak point first, they scatter like dust." Jack turned to Luma. "Is there a weak point?" Luma thought for a moment. "Yes. The relay station on Vora Gate. That's where they control most of their spy network. If we destroy that, they go blind." "Then that's our next move," Jack said. Ellis smiled. "Dot. Most admirals I knew." The crew prepared the ship. Shields boosted, weapons loaded, stealth systems on full. Jack gave the orders, and Luma helped plan the approach. She knew enemy paths, guard rotations, and signal gaps. As they moved toward the Vora Gate, Jack glanced at Luma. She wasn't holding his leg anymore, not like before. Now, she stood beside him, tall in spirit, ready for war. He remembered when she was just a silent figure hugging his foot. Now she was a warrior carrying the weight of ancient knowledge and loyalty. Jack knew the battle ahead would not be easy. But he also knew one thing. He would not face it alone. The Vora Gate was not just a station, it was a fortress. Built between two asteroid rings, it controlled secret data, long-range communications, and hundreds of spy routes across this part of the galaxy. If the enemy used it to watch Luma's movements, then shutting it down was the only way forward. Jack, Luma, Dan, and Commander Ellis stood around the holographic map in the Copper Sparrow's briefing room. Red lights circled the Vora Gate's outer defenses. "They'll expect heavy ships," Ellis said. "Big weapons. But we're small, fast, and ignored." "You want to sneak in?" Don asked. "Yes," Luma said softly. "Waist duct near the ring's edge. I saw the blueprints in my memory. We can enter through there if they haven't sealed it." Jack nodded. "Then that's our way in." They prepped the ship. Everyone worked fast and quiet. No jokes this time, no small talk. Even Dan, usually the loudest voice, stayed focused. They all knew the risk. When they arrived near the gate, Jack turned off most systems. The Copper Sparrow drifted like a ghost. They floated along the debris ring, using broken rock and space dust to stay hidden. "Keep power low," Jack whispered. "We just need one shot, one entrance." Luma guided him toward the waste duct. It was still there, rusted, dirty, but open. They forgot this path. She said. They launched a small pod just big enough for Jack, Luma, and Ellis. It attached silently to the duct's outer edge. They climbed inside the tight space, crawling. "Forward in near darkness, feels like a rat tunnel," Jack muttered. "Be glad we're small," Luma replied. They moved slowly. The air was thick with old steam and dust. But after 20 minutes, they reached a vent that opened into a hallway. 2 guards stood nearby, talking softly in another language. Luma touched Jack's arm. "I'll go first."
"Oh, wait," he
tried to stop her, but she was already moving in one motion. She jumped out of the vent, rolled forward, and tapped both guards on the back of their necks with her small blade. They dropped quietly. "Clear," she said. Jack and Ellis followed. Ellis raised an eyebrow. "I've seen commandos move slower than that." "She's not just fast," Jack said. "She's trained to protect things worth dying for." Crept through narrow halls, ducking past cameras and hiding in shadowed corners. Luma seemed to know the path better than the guards themselves. Finally, they reached the control core, a room filled with data servers, tall screens, and a glowing center pillar that pulsed like a heart. "We blow that," Ellis said, "and the entire spy network goes dark." Jack set up the charges. He placed them gently along the base, connecting wires while Luma watched the door. Just as he finished the last wire, the door burst open. 4 armored guards stormed in, weapons raised. Jack grabbed for his blaster, but Luma moved first. She jumped from a server panel, flipping in midair, and kicked the first guard's helmet so hard it cracked. She landed, rolled, and sliced another's armor joint. Ellis fired quickly, hitting the third. Jack shot the last one before he could pull the alarm. Silence returned. Jack looked around. "Okay," Luma nodded. Her arm had a burn mark, but she didn't flinch. "Charges are ready," Jack said. "Time to go." They ran back the same way, barely avoiding another patrol. When they reached the pod, Jack gave the signal. "Double quotes, Dan. Pull us now." The Copper Sparrow activated its tractor beam. Pulling the pod back fast, once they were clear, Jack pushed the remote. A bright flash filled the darkness. The Voragate center exploded. Fire spread through its spine, breaking the control room. And sending signals into chaos, back on the bridge, the crew cheered. Even Dan whooped loudly. "That'll slow them down," Ellis said. Jack turned to Luma. "How do you feel?" She looked out the window. "Lighter." "What now?" Dan asked. Jack didn't speak for a moment. Then he said, "We take this fight. To them, no more running. They tried to take her, tried to kill us. Now we strike back." "You sure?" Ellis asked. Jack looked at Luma. She stood straight, eyes calm, hands at her side, ready. "I'm sure," Jack said. Later that night, Jack sat alone in the mess room. Luma entered quietly and climbed onto the bench across from him. "You still remember the first day?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "I clung to your leg." Jack chuckled. "You haven't done that in a while." "I no longer need to," she said. "You walk beside me now." Jack looked at her and smiled. "I'm glad you never let go." "I never will," she replied. The stars outside the Copper Sparrow looked calm, but Jack knew the storm was coming. After destroying the Voragate, they had forced the enemy to reveal their hand. Ships began to move. Messages were intercepted. Bounty signals on Luma's life doubled in strength, but Jack wasn't running anymore. Commander Ellis helped rebuild the Sparrow's systems, turning the small ship into a fast and dangerous vessel. Dan worked around the clock to improve the shield core. Luma studied every piece of enemy data they captured, memorizing flight patterns, weak spots, hidden bases. They weren't just hiding now, they were planning. "You sure this is the right way?" Dan asked as they sat in the briefing room again. Jack nodded. "We found where the enemy's main fleet gathers, their hidden base in the shadow sector." "No one goes there," Ellis said. "It's full of gravity cracks and unstable stars." "That's why they thought it was safe," Jack replied. "But now we know, and we're going in." "What's the goal?" Jack looked at Luma. She answered, "Their leader, Admiral Savrek, will be there. If we remove him, the rest will fall apart. So it's a one-shot mission," Dan said. "Get in, get out." "No," Jack said. "We don't run this time, we end this." The Copper Sparrow jumped into the shadow sector under full stealth mode. Ship shook from the nearby black stars and strange gravity pulses, but they held together. They moved carefully through the dark space until they saw it, the enemy command ship. A massive war cruiser, floating above a dark moon. It looked like a black claw in space. Jack gave orders fast. We'll send Luma and Ellis in with the drone shuttle. Dan and I will keep their attention with the Sparrow. Too risky, Ellis said. They'll never expect a small team. And Luma's the only one who knows the layout. Luma nodded. I'm ready. The shuttle launched quietly, drifting with no power. Inside, Luma sat beside Ellis, holding a small pulse blade. Are you nervous? Ellis asked. No, she said. I've already died once when my family fell. This is just finishing what they started. It landed on the dark moon and entered through a cargo hatch. Inside, the base was full of guards, drones, and traps. Luma moved like air. Ellis covered her back. Meanwhile, Jack flew the Copper Sparrow. Straight into view of the enemy fleet. They've seen us, Don shouted. Let them, Jack said, gripping the controls. Open comes. A tall, alien face appeared on screen, Admiral Savrek. His cold eyes scanned Jack. You dare come here? He said. Jack smirked. You started this when you chased a girl. Now we're ending it, Savrek growled. She holds power that belongs to the strong. She belongs to no one, Jack said. You want her? Come get her. The enemy ships turned, chasing the Sparrow. Jack flew low over the moon, dodging fire inside the base. Alarms went off. Ice. Luma and Ellis moved faster. We need to reach the command room now, Ellis shouted. Luma nodded, sliding under a laser gate and flipping past a guard. Her blade moved with speed no one could match. She kicked open the last door and saw him. Admiral Savrek stood with 2 guards. So, the last Zavnari comes to me, he said. No, she said. I come to finish what you failed to destroy. Savrek raised his weapon, but Ellis fired first, hitting the Admiral's side. The guards turned to him, but Luma was already moving. She jumped, rolled, and sliced both guards before they could fire. Savrek tried to aim again, but Luma was already at his chest. She pressed her blade forward. He froze. You can't win. Others will come. Luma's voice was calm. Then, I'll face them too. She pressed the button on her wrist and uploaded a memory pulse. Savrek's systems locked and his ship began to shut down. Let's go, she told Ellis. They raced back to the shuttle. Above, Jack's ship was still flying, dodging enemy fire. We're out of tricks, Dan shouted. Wait, I see something, Jack said. Suddenly, the enemy ships began to fall apart. Their main command lost control. Lights dimmed, weapons stopped firing. They're confused. Jack grabbed the mic. Luma, was that you? Her voice came back calm and clear. Yes. Memory codes accessed. Command structure crashed. You beautiful little genius, Jack whispered. The Copper Sparrow picked up the shuttle and blasted away. The enemy fleet scattered. Without Savrek and the control systems, they had no orders left. Back on the ship, the crew cheered. Jack turned to Luma. You did it, he said. We did it, she replied. So, what now? Don asked. Jack looked at the stars. We rebuild, protect others, stop anyone like them from rising again. Luma stood by his side. She wasn't holding his leg anymore, but she never walked far. Not because she had to, because she wanted to, and Jack knew, no matter what galaxy they went to next, he'd never be alone again. The tiny alien woman, once given as a reward, was now a legend beside him.